Teardrops fall out my window all day, all night. Whenever you call, if I don't pick up, it's alright. Oh, hell, if they don't like it, I might turn up by myself. I don't need opinion, no, I did this for myself. I just remembered I'm dope, yeah. I just remembered I'm fly, yeah. They tryna say be humble. Don't you know I'm made like God, yeah. All in my blood type. I was on straight for 100 nights. Think done tryna get it done right. Compare myself down, never ever. Believe in myself, now I'm him again, yeah. Death to my depression and anxiety. Death to all my stress and what I'm trying to be. I'ma get live, cause I'm still live. And if I ain't die, ain't no way I'm giving up. I ain't done. I ain't done. I ain't done. As long as the breath in my lungs. I ain't done. I ain't done. I ain't done. As long as this breath in my lungs. I ain't done. Just came out of the winter. Just came out like a winner. Had a breakdown, could've stayed down, figure. Rather die trying than to live like quitter. Woo, yeah, my problem big, but I know God way bigger. What you expect once you level up? Don't you know the boss is bigger? Yeah, used to spend a lot of time daring myself. Then I spent a lot of time comparing myself. Turning to the doubt, then the fear of myself. Overthinking to the point I wasn't fearing myself. Now I know why Chappelle went missing. Now I know why Brick got the Clippers. Now I know why Ye started tripping. The pressure and the expectation get ya. Oh, hell, if they don't like it, I might turn up by myself. I don't need opinion, no, I need this for myself. For myself, Death to my depression and anxiety. Death to all my stress and what I'm trying to be. I'ma get live, cause I'm still live. And if I ain't die, ain't no way I'm giving up. I ain't done. I ain't done. I ain't done. As long as the breath in my lungs. I ain't done. I ain't done. I ain't done. As long as this breath in my lungs. I ain't done. I know you feel like you can't change. Look here, it's a brand new year, but the same on me. Y'all already know I'm coming. Thou shalt not put your hand on the Lord's anointed. Nah, you know you can't touch it. This Merlot is the 80s, baby. You gotta sip that, don't chug it. Yeah, even 3-6 gotta admit when the trumpet blow. Y'all know who run it. Who run it?
But it ain't no who done it. He said it, it's finished. Y'all know who won it. It's a real long shot. Y'all might as well punt it. Talking about green, you might as well putt it. Talk about me, you might as well shut it. Still pull up for the KFC. Only difference is the
What's up? It's been forever. I hope you're all ready for a very scuffed stream. I'm on a new setup. I haven't streamed in a year. Has it been a year? I don't even remember the last time I streamed. It's been a while. So let me know how audio is, how music sound is, how mic volume is, all of that fun stuff. Because, I'm just gonna stop the music for now. But it's been a while, so I migrated all my stuff over. Hopefully it'll be all right. But I wanted to put a stream together. I've been wanting to do more content lately, so trying to figure it out. I think I'm gonna do a video on maybe do some videos around some of the SearchCarriers stuff I got going on. But I figured today we could do just like a little release stream around the latest SearchCarriers update. There's a ton of features packed into this one, and I've had a lot of people asking for like more information. Part of this update is actually launching this new onboarding guide, but it's still kind of early a little bit. So I figured do a live stream. I can chop it up. I'll probably put it out as videos, and then also I can send people timestamp links to this, hopefully, for future things. So anyway, bear with me. Let me know if there's any kind of audio stuff. For sure, I'm monitoring the chats. Hopefully it'll all come through. Like I said, it's all fresh. I also just moved to a Mac, which I'm not going to make this stream all about how that's going. This is my machine from last time I streamed. If you remember, I got that new. It died like a week ago, unfortunately. So either a video or a stream on that another day. Today's SearchCarriers day, so we're going to just jump into that. Should be a pretty short stream too. Maybe like an hour, probably end around noon. So anyway, let me share my screen. Let me show you kind of what I've been up to. New SearchCarriers release. I think we'll just go through the changelog and I'll kind of demo some of the stuff. And yeah, let me jump into it. Let me share my screen. Jump over to this. All right, look at that. Does it work? Perfect. Got the angle camera still going. Fantastic. So yeah, SearchCarriers. Look, check out this. Check out my little logo animation. Happy with that. Happy with that. Had to make it fun. Let's see if I can. Okay. For some reason, my chat is like disappearing when I like click into certain things. So I'm trying to make that not happen. Do this. That'll work. That'll work. Cool. Anyway, here's the release, version 1.19. A lot of stuff in here. So we've got the new enriched context system, audit process, brand new team management, automatic carrier reviews, enforcement cases are in there now, company snapshots, the guide, MCP connector. Let's just go through them. Let's just jump through them. So starting at the top, we have this new enriched context system. This one's really cool. So most people that have used SearchCarriers, you're pretty familiar already with the contacts tab. So if I jump over to, this is SearchCarriers' latest. Let me jump into my lineups really quick. I've got an example for this. This is a flatbed carrier. This is a random one. I actually don't know who this is or anything about it, but most of you are familiar with this contacts tab, right? We got our company officer information. We got phone numbers, email, fax, website. You got historical in here. Looks like there's some minor changes that have happened over time. New email back in December. But the problem with this is it's just the FMCSA registered information, right? So a lot of times I get asked about like, well, I want to talk to like a dispatcher or someone from accounting or those kinds of things. And you can go a little bit further with company officer information and go through, like a true people search, I think is one that I've been referenced a few times to find that information. But the contact details you get there could be anything. It could be like this guy, Gary. It could be like his mom's phone number. Super low quality. So what we've done in SearchCarriers, we've added this new enriched contact system. So what you can do is you can come in here, search with a token, and I just did a wide open search, and it's going to pull back the first 3 things that it finds. So here are some other people that it's found that have worked at this company. We've got their name, their role, if they have a LinkedIn profile link to that, as well as phone number, email, all this stuff in here. Other ones. The cool thing you can do with this, though, is this is wide open search, right? So it's just the first 3 people can find. Sometimes the small companies, that's fine. But if you want to actually look for like dispatchers, you can jump into this dispatch tab. And so we've already got one that we pulled from that wide open search, but I can search for more. I actually don't know if there's going to be any. You could basically come in here and search for people by categories of position. So see executives, it's probably already pulled in from over here from this Jim Forrester, if I had to guess. This is kind of a smaller company, so we might not have any. But the cool thing we can do with this, even if we find none here, if like you're talking to, Greg, you can actually do a custom search. And with a custom search, you can either define your own role or pick from our huge list. So I could define a role and be like technology or IT. And you could put in, I actually don't know anybody that works here. We'll put in, what was it, David? Actually, we could even leave it up. We'll see if it finds anybody in technology. Nobody in this. But again, this is kind of a smaller company. They got 15 drivers, so not totally surprising. But the idea here is you can really come in and search for anything. Let me pull up a larger company. So if you go to like Integrity Express Logistics, right? They're a pretty big brokerage. If we pop them open and go to Contacts tab, you can see we have a lot more in here. So I can go into claims, let's say. I need to talk to somebody from the claims department at Integrity Express. Search for claims. And here you go. It's going to pull back information for people in that department. Same thing with like accounting. You got their email, phone number, links to their profiles, names, all that. We can go to accounting, same deal. Look for broker sales, contacts, safety contacts. And the same deal if you can go to custom search and search for any role you want. So the reason we built this instead of just doing like the true people search and enhancing by company officers is just because the quality of results is so much better. We've got like phone numbers for all kinds of people, VP of strategic services, salespeople, all that's in here. So, and if they have more than one, you can see that it'll show all the different connections, all the different emails and everything in here as well. So you can have more than one potentially over time. Great for lead gen. This is available on our signals plan right now. You get a number of tokens that you basically use to unlock these. If you just do a wide open search, you get up to 3 contacts for 1 token. And I believe on the signals plan, you get 200 tokens. So you could find 600 contacts a month, which is probably more than anyone actually needs. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think a lot of people using SearchCarriers for lead gen it's gonna be huge for them. So next thing we got carrier network automatic reviews. All right, so this one, I know this one kind of was like in the Twitter sphere a little bit, with some of the vibe coded apps putting out these bulk company reviews. Kind of did our own take on it. So instead of doing a health report, it's more like an investigative, like, hey, here's stuff to start looking into. This is all built into our lineup system, which is available on the compliance plan up. So you jump into lineups. I've got a bunch of them in here. I have actually not run it on any of these, so I'm just gonna run it. But as you go into your lineup, I've got this random flatbed carrier. It's probably not even real. You've got tools, carrier network review. And so what you could do is you could say, I want to run a carrier network review on all the carriers in this list, or only ones that haven't been run yet. I've never run it on here, so it's the same. And what it'll do is it's going to apply your vetting rules against it. Look for risk factors, associations, the whole deal. And that's going to give you a report at the end with all the information you could download, view, blah, blah, blah. So let me just run this. I'll show you. It'll take a second to run. It runs async, but it should automatically refresh for us so we can see as it's going. So you can run up to 5,000 carriers, I believe is the limit per lineup on this. So it's pretty high limit. So that just completed. I got an email with the actual results. I'm not going to bother pulling up my email and show you all that on stream because you know how it goes. I'll leak a token or something. But basically what we can do, see it's completed, click the view, and I can pull this up. And so you can see high level companies with risk factors, companies with above 50th percentile basic scores, above out of service averages, blah, blah, blah. And I could go into these. Obviously, AJ Partner, for everyone familiar, is going to be a fail for my vetting. I can open these up, see the details of this company, right? Here's the risk factors identified, blah, blah, blah. I can open this up if I want and jump all the way over to that company. I can download the CSV. And in that CSV, I'll download it actually and open it for you. So in this CSV, bear with me, Mac hotkeys. Do I guess it right? I did. First try. Let's go. You can see we've got, company name, DOT, all the identifying info you're looking for. And then we also have the risk factors, total count, out of service percentages, if it's above the average or not, blah, blah, blah. So the idea is with the CSV here, you can really take this and plug it into whatever you want. So, we're not giving you a score 0 to 100 on risk, but we're giving you all the numbers so that you can create your own if you want to. That's one of the things with SearchCarriers. We've got the vetting engine, which will give you a pass or fail or review. But I've really tried to stay away from us giving you a direct number because everybody's a little different. And I think giving you a number is just kind of a cop-out, to be honest. If I give you a 75, you're going to be like, oh, they said 75 looks good. And you're not going to look into it. And with SearchCarriers, I want you to look into it and understand what you're doing. So giving you the tools to do that as easy as possible, basically. But like I said, this is limited to up to 5,000 carriers, I believe, is the limit. So, yeah, that's all in there. And you could share this with your team members and everything as well. So if I go back to my lineup and check out Carrier Network Review, you can see, I've got my history here. And if this is a team level lineup, you could share that. And like you saw earlier, you can do it just on these missing carriers. So what I can do is, let me jump back to search really quick and just add a random one. Let's add Posada, shall we? Jump into Posada. By the way, look how fast Associated Entities comes back now. It's another thing. This used to take 30 seconds, and now it's 1 second maybe. Super fast. Let's add this to the flatbed carrier lineup. Sweet. Jump back over here, do a little refresh. There it is. So now if I go back in here, I could say I only want to run the carrier review on the new carriers. So if you have a running list of like, hey, we've got like 5 new carriers we're doing for flatbed, you added them to your lineup, you're collecting them. Let's just run that report on the ones we've added since last time. You could run this, give it a second, boom. And now here's our 1 new carrier we added. So you can just kind of keep it up to date. Now, if you want to run it on everybody, you totally can do that. But it's a good way to just keep your running list of carriers you work with and say, like, let's just check out the ones we've added in the last 30 days. So, Adam, that's very sick. Yeah, dude, I'm super pumped about this one. I think I like that it's, I think that the take on this one is a little different than everybody else's, and I'm hoping people will really get a kick out of it. I've gotten a lot of emails, people wanting to look into this, like, hey, how do you do it? I think I need to clean up admittedly, the steps. There's a couple steps. You got to create a lineup. You got to add companies to that lineup, and then you got to dig for the button. So I'm probably gonna like streamline that a little bit in an upcoming minor release here. But otherwise, like the tooling and stuff in there, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And this also, I didn't even mention this, but this will work with statuses too. This is random. So if I had if you have the status column, like this is a random one I was doing for a demo probably. I can run this on only certain statuses. So I could say, just run it on the cards under the called status. So you can use your statuses in conjunction with this to further help with organization. So, yeah, like I said, that applies your vetting rules against it. So you can obviously tweak your vetting rules to whatever you want, and it'll auto-calculate that. So, all right, next thing up. This is a huge one too. Audit process system. I think this needs renamed. I feel like this name is really sloppy, but bear with me. It's very cool. So what this is it's a way to create a form that everyone on your team and yourself can use when you're like basically doing your due diligence on a carrier. So what you can go to settings, go to your audit process, and here's the UI. It actually looks way better in light mode, to be honest. Flashbang, sorry. So here, if you go to use starter template, there's an example already set up for you. So we'll do that. It'll apply it all. And so what this does, you can set rules up for a questionnaire that people can use when they're auditing a carrier. So, you know, the default template is check for any changed risks vetting, profile information. So basically we're doing verify the risk factors are reviewed. You can see this is a changed data check, which means the automator. Yes, yeah. Honestly, I should have messaged you, Adam. You're the naming guy. You'll come up with something, I'm sure. But the stuff in here, so we've got answer type, right? Change data check. So it's only going to ask when data is changed. That's another feature of this, is it'll keep track of the last audit you did, and it'll only ask you to approve a question if it's changed since last time. So here we're saying verify the risk factors. Checking only when risk factors basically change. Here's the stuff we're checking risk factors. We're gonna add a notes field to this. We'll ask a second question, same thing, change data check. This one's for the actual vetting report results. Same thing, allow notes, only when changed. Another one, we're gonna do basically pretty much everything else. Any kind of power unit changes, authority out of service changes, out of service rate changes, blah, blah, blah. And then the last question we have is just confirm, hey, I've done this, looks good, happy to go. The cool thing is, like I said, you can add all this. So I can add a new question and say, I don't know, a lot of people use SearchCarriers in conjunction with other tools, which is what I recommend, right? I think that a good approach to compliance and vetting, it's not one tool, it's many tools. The bad guys need to keep guessing, right? So let's say you're using some other like third-party validation thing of like checking for some kind of reports on another system. You could say like checked for system A, no reports found. Or we'll say no reports found on, let me type better, no reports found on external system A, whatever, right? Verify that this carrier has no reports on www.reports.com. And then I could say checkbox acknowledgement, always ask. Confirmation, I acknowledge. We'll say no reports found. Right, boom. We'll save this. Okay. So now what we'll do is we're going to go back to companies. Let's go to, let me go to, what's a good one? Where's my flatbed one I just did? We'll do that company. Flatbed Express. Okay, let's jump into there. Flatbed Express. Now in the top right, we've got this record an audit button. So if I click this, it's going to load my form I just filled out. So verify risk factors. So here's the top. Contact info was changed. I can jump back over here. Contact, historical. Okay, here was the changes. Looks good. This saves your position. So if I'm on question 2, 3, 4, type in notes, it'll save all that. So you can go out and back in. So it looks good. Let's view verify the vetting results. Okay, so out of service was a little high for vehicle. Everything else looks like it's a pass, so we're good there. Looks great. Verify company profile changes. So here's that contact information from the risk factors, right? Here's some of these changes that have been flagged. Out of service inspections, right? So here's 12 of them. You can actually search in here. I cleaned this up a little bit because there's can be a lot. So I think it's the last 24 months maybe. I'll have to double check on that. Looks like I might be going a little beyond that. But here's the out of service, right? So you can search for these states, all that stuff. You can open them up and see the information about them. Looks good. Out of service rates since last time, since I've never looked at this before. Reviewed these. Looks good. And then here's no reports found on external system A. So again, I can back out of this and go do something else, check something, blah, 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 come back. And it's going to load me back to that same place. It saves my state. So you can go and do this check and come back and you're good to go. Good to go. No reports found. Found some comments, but looks good. Sure, whatever. Complete the audit. And now what it's going to do is it records this audit with a snapshot of the company's data at the time of this form being completed, as well as my answers to all the questions. So what I can do now is I can go and download like a PDF of this and pull it up. We'll see if this actually looks all right on here. I haven't looked at it on a Mac yet. Okay, so it separates it by pages to make it a little bit easier for, audit purposes. Can I blow this up? Here we go. So, we got our questionnaire, right? Here's all the stuff. Carrier snapshot, all the information that we had, blah, blah, blah. Authorities at audit. It's got everything in here. So that if you want to go back later, 6 months, and download and say, hey, what did they look at? Here's the out of service inspections. Here is basically everything that this user reviewed. You can basically come and pull all of it. So, it's really, like I said, it's an audit trail. That's why it's called like the audit trail. Here's the notes I left. Confirmed, looks good. And you can set this up on either a personal level or you can set this up on a team. So if you want to have like a team level audit process, you can do that. And all your team members can have this and they can see each other's audit history, which is cool. There's obviously a CSV and also a JSON download for this if you want that as well. And you get a little fingerprint code. But yeah, so I think that's a super cool system. A lot of people need to be using it, honestly. It's more than just a snapshot of the company data, but it's actually like verifying, hey, it's a record of like what I did. There was a couple ways I thought about doing this, of like automatically tracking steps and all that, but I felt this was the most intentional and gives the most power to the users and the teams to do what they want to do with it. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing. I'm sure there's going to be feedback on different types of questions to add and all that as well. You can see too, if I go do another audit, I'm doing a new audit for this company now. You can see the only question I have to answer is that there are no reports. And the reason that is because all the other questions in here it had the check mark of only ask if it's changed. And since I just did the report, obviously the data is not changed at all since last time. So I just have the one question. So you can basically, it's just a quick way to, if you want to always ask it, you can flip that setting and it'll just always ask the same questions. It's fine. But if you want to just say, hey, just give me the stuff that's changed, that's another way to do it. Yeah, strong proof of vetting for a new SCOTUS ruling. Yeah, exactly. And I really like that, I think SearchCarriers is a really good platform in conjunction with other platforms. Like I said, you can definitely do everything in SearchCarriers, but every platform is a little bit different and they're strong and like what they're strong at. So it's a good way to use SearchCarriers as your base of operations for compliance and basically connect it out to your other, even though, a lot of these platforms, they don't do integrations officially, you can put a step with a link and say like, hey, go here and check this. And basically use SearchCarriers as kind of your home base. So I think it's a good way to kind of centralize that logic somewhere across platforms. All right, other stuff. Jumping into teams. I'm actually going to go to my local for this. It'd be easier to demo. The team management and team systems got a pretty big overhaul. Before it was like an ask me for permission and I'll turn you on your team access. Now it's a lot better. It's still not publicly available to everyone yet. It probably will be soon, so they can just self-serve it. I think technically it's in there, but it's kind of buried. But anyway, this is a team account on my local. And so, oh, actually, it's not a team account on my local. Let me grab one really quick. Let's see here, team admin. Okay. So, team accounts. There is a brand new team UI. So the team UI, if you'd seen it before, it was a lot more messy. One of the big changes is like how subscriptions are managed. Before, the team accounts would automatically calculate your plans. So if I added a search plan and a compliance plan, it would be like, oh, you owe $100 more. Click here to check out. And it didn't support 3D secure checkout. So if your card had like the bank extra check, it would kind of fail until I sent you a link, blah, blah, blah. Now it's all taken care of, all cleaned up, all polished. The way this works is if I go here and say, hey, I want to assign these seats that I don't have, it'll auto-calculate the seats you need. You need 1 more search, you need 2 more compliance, and you go to add seats. I don't know if this is going to work on my local. Okay, cool. And it's going to automatically take you to your subscription page and let you buy your change right here. So it'll preset them all. Hey, you need more because of this, blah, blah, blah. I don't actually know if this will work. We'll try it. Yeah, okay, it's not going to work. It's all part of my new environment. The Stripe stuff just isn't all connected yet. But anyway, you would buy this, you go to Stripe, you check out, it comes back, and this will now automatically assign your seats, basically. So it's just way more intuitive, way more obvious about like what you're buying and when. The other big change is the team API plans. API plans are no longer seat-based, they're team-based if you're on a team. So you buy one API plan, it applies to your team, and then you can just toggle who has access to that API plan. So one $500 API plan can be shared across however many people on your team. It's just locked down to your total counts, which you can find on that team page. Other stuff for teams. We have labels. I didn't even cover this in lineups, but we have labels now in lineups. So you can add custom labels. Let me just go show you in production, actually. Do I have any in here? Let's see. Actually, let me go to one with statuses. So we can actually add custom labels now. Label. Test label. You give it a color. Whatever you want. Let me give it a color that actually looks like something. Okay. Now, when I go back here, I can actually add labels here. This is pretty much the same as like custom fields and statuses, but it's a lot more visual. So some people like that. You can also filter by these in the filters. But the reason I show this, so this is me adding a label at the lineup level. I can also add labels on my account level. So that's across all my lineups in my settings. And then if I'm on a team, I can also add labels that are specific to my team so that anybody on my team would have certain labels. So really however you want to do it, but that's all in here and configurable. And we also just rolled out today as a minor update today, actually, SAML support. So now you can actually set up full SSO across like enterprise organizations for like Microsoft, for example, so that you can actually manage if you're using like, I don't even know what it's called. Azure AD now, I guess. They changed it a few times, but like if you're using like Microsoft 365 and you manage all your logins through there, you can actually come in, verify a domain. You gotta like put in the actual settings and verify it. These are all tests, by the way, so I'm not leaking anything. And basically set all this up, and you can turn it on so that people can just log in with their Microsoft account through your AD account, and it'll automatically assign them to your team in SearchCarriers. So if you're a big organization with 100 people, and you're like, hey, I just want to like have it so people log in with their account set up for like my company, and it assigns them to my team, you can actually set all that up now, and it's completely self-serve. You just come into your team settings, go through the wizard, and then once you verified the domain and set up your app on your side, your employees can just log in, and it'll auto-assign them to the team. So just makes it as easy as possible. That's the other thing too with inviting team members. This got cleaned up today as well. So now when you get invited to a team, before when you got a team invite, you had to create an account separately and then accept your team invite, and it was just really clunky and terrible. So in the update today, another minor update from since yesterday actually, is the team invite links will let you create an account at the same time you're accepting the invite. So you don't have to like create the account and then accept the invite. You can just do it all together in one flow, which is way better. Obviously, again, just a polished thing that needed to happen for teams. So you can manage, again, you kind of saw this already, but you can manage all your seats. So you actually buy, that's the other difference. Before, you bought seats based on the seats that were assigned, essentially. So if you wanted to buy 5 compliance seats, you'd have to invite 5 people to your team and give them 5 compliance seats. You're kind of like buying a seat every time somebody logged in. It was really clunky. And if you're like, hey, somebody's leaving, but we want to just keep our 5 seats, like for somebody new that's coming on, like it would like give you a credit and then reapply. It was just really gross. So now it's completely separate from the actual assignment. So you just buy however many seats you need, you purchase them, and then you just have those seats to assign. So it's just a lot more straightforward. A lot easier for team managers. Speaking of team managers, there's also a manager role now on team. So we have admin, manager, and member. The difference with manager is managers can manage who is part of the team. They can't manage somebody to be like a super admin or anything like that, but they can add new members to the team, and they can also control seeing other team members' lineups. So if you're on a team, your lineup will be automatically shared. Any of your lineups are automatically shared with your managers. And so that's kind of just like an extra step of, hey, if you've got one guy that's kind of working across 3 departments, they become a manager so they can see everybody's lineup. So again, just a lot of polish, nice to use stuff as people have been starting to use the team plans to make them more intuitive and actually useful, not just a pain to use. Other stuff, FMC enforcement cases. So let's see, I can probably pull. Do I have an example for this? Let's see. Act. You guys have never really seen behind the scenes on SearchCarriers, so you can see some of it a little bit now. Some of my database stuff. I don't have any on local. This is what it looks like. I actually don't know how to like specifically, there's not a way to like find a company with an enforcement case right now. But basically, if they have them, it'll show in the bottom right now. And it looks just like this. You can expand them and see the full information and like the typical flow like it looks like in SearchCarriers. So that'll be there present for any company you're looking at. And that's on the search plan as well. So that's just the $20 plan gets that. Other thing, one-time company snapshots. So now you can actually go in and let me just, I probably don't have anything else. Go here. You can actually download a snapshot of a company. So let me go to that Flatbed. What was it? Flatbed Express? Yeah, here we go. Basically, we can go in here. We can go export snapshot. If you don't want to do a full audit, but you're just like, I want to download the company as it is right now, this is a way to do it. You can, get your risk factors, vetting report, all that stuff in there. Say, email me. And it's going to email you a snapshot, which I will pull up in another tab. 1 second. Bear with me. Let me download this. Actually, I can probably do this. Looks like this. Right, so it comes through. Here's your snapshot, all the stuff you asked for, blah, blah, blah. Go to the bottom. I'll download it real quick. Open it up. And it just gives you a snapshot. I don't know how this is going to look in here. Actually, it might look kind of weird. Let's see. Okay, there it is. So it's, if you've ever downloaded the like snapshots from SMS, where it's got like tabs, it's kind of modeled after that. So you can see like when the snapshot was made, who made it, blah, 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 some of the information. Here's like the violation summaries grouped, number of violations, all that. Inspections for the last 24 months, crashes, equipment. It's pretty much the same thing as the SMS, but with the addition of the equipment tab, I believe, which gives you the actual equipment breakdown if you want those, as well as risk factors that are found and vetting report results from you. So it's basically like SMS company snapshots enriched, like plus. So again, super useful for after the SCOTUS ruling. If you're like, hey, I want to just like download the SMS snapshots, but also like record what the vetting was at the time. This is like the short version of the audit process. And it's super easy to do. So Let's see. What else we got? Association lookup super fast. Mentioned that already. MCP server. This is officially out now as well. This is available for anybody on the Search Planet Up. And you basically come into your integrations tab, set up MCP connector, and you can set up Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, whoever. And then you can basically use SearchCarriers directly through your AI of choice. So you can ask it to generate reports, all kinds of stuff. People have been doing it to help with lead generation, with vetting. I mean, it's all over the place. It's actually seen way more usage than I thought it was going to be honest. I dragged my feet on adding this for a really long time, as a lot of you probably know. But it's been getting a lot of use. So I'm glad I finally got it out there. People are seeming to get a kick out of it. I tried to also add steps to set this up in here. So to help just kind of, some of it's a little buried, especially with like ChatGPT. So that's all in here as well. All right, and the last big thing is the new guide to SearchCarriers page. So this is definitely V1. I'll preface that. So basically, there's now a guide in here for if you have questions. There's actually two parts to this. The first one is if you are on once you purchase a plan, before you would just land on like the subscription page again. It was like, thank you for buying and thank you for your support. Now it actually takes you to, it says the same thing, but it takes you to onboarding. And so it takes you basically here. I'm not on a plan because I'm a super admin technically, but it basically takes you to here based on which plan you're on. And it's like, hey, here's some things to check out. You bought the search plan. Here's how you can find companies. Here's how you can kind of read some of those details. Here's how you can use the verify contact tool. Here's how you export a list. You can get the Chrome extension, the MCP tool. All that's just in here to help you like understand your plan. And the same thing happens with compliance and signals plan. So set up your vetting rules, your risk factors, build an audit form. That's all in here. It's directly part of the onboarding to make it just easier for people that are new to the system. So that's part of this. But then also if we go back to the guide, just high level, we've got some articles in here for how to use different things. For example, I get asked about SMS scoring all of the time. And so there's this page that just explains how do we calculate the SMS basic percentiles for SearchCarriers purposes, or the ISS scores. What are the basic measures? What do they mean? It's just kind of an explainer for questions I get asked a lot. So this is definitely V1 of this. You know, I'm sure it's going to keep getting things added as people ask me questions. But you can actually, there's obviously all the different cards in here you can look at. But then also there's a search. So if I just wanted to go like risk factors, here you go, boom. Betting rules and risk factors. There's just a quick search to find that. Here's how you can set it up. I think there's also like another page for like more of an FAQ. I guess it's the same page. Oh, it's the bottom of this that's getting captured. But yeah, so, you know, if you have a question, the idea is just come in here and look it up. I want to do company watches. Here you go. If you want to do contact enrichment, how does that work? Here you go. Explains how the process works. Kind of a little step-by-step of what you can do to try to use it and maximize your tokens. All that stuff. So I want this to actually be a little nicer. I'm not super happy with how this turned out. I think the information here is really useful, and I'm going to reference it a lot, but I think the actual like UI is could be better, basically. It feels a little boring, if I'm being honest. A little like too many words on the page. So data's there, it's good start. I think a V2 will be coming soon, probably. All right, other stuff. Company profile updates. Yeah, I guess this is technically new. This section got updated a little bit, so we've got actual like what the company is for the connection: carrier, broker. We're grouping the counts here now, so you can actually see them directly on this section here a little bit better. Just some nicety with the connection breakdown up here as well. These are some of the requests from people that use this a lot. Also have satisfactory safety rating as a risk factor now. It wasn't before. It was, you know, kind of assumed you put that in your vetting engine, but now that it, like with the SCOTUS stuff, feels like it's actually a risk factor now, so that's in there. If they're not rated, it's not a risk factor. It's specifically if they are conditional or unsatisfactory. What else? Add a service was added. I think this is kind of new as well. So if I go to Posada, before there wasn't a good way to see the out of service reasons. Now that's up here in the corner. So you can click it to see what the reason was. We also added the service map in the corner down here. We also flag if they're seen at US border crossings now. So if they've been seen at a border crossing, you'll get that little notification. And we also have the recent shipper section. This is experimental, very new. The reason it's experimental is because some of the grouping is still not quite right. The counts are correct. So, you know, this is legitimate. The problem is, let's see if this has any. There will be duplicates in here sometimes where the names are just slightly different. Let's see if there's any. There might not be any in this example here. But you'll see stuff like Amazon, and then you'll see like Amazon Logistics. And like those two should be one. And so that's why, until that's cleaned up, calling it experimental. But if you want to see what kind of shippers this company is moving stuff for, you know, you can basically come down here and see this. I believe this is on the search plan and up. Did I say? What's it saying here? I don't think it might not even be in this. I'll have to double check what that's under. It might be compliance plan. I'll double check. But yeah, this is pretty cool. It's fun to see, especially when like a company gets flagged on Twitter or something, and you're like, oh, I wonder who they're moving stuff. Who's using them? You just pop it open and you scroll to the bottom, and you can see who they've been moving loads for. So I think that's cool. I did also change some of the UI at the top here, as you can see. Cleaned up the these aren't as big now, they stack. So risk factors, this is the same. The actual pop-ups are the same, but these sections are just a little more collapsed. They were taking up a little too much space, I think. So I think it's a little better. I think track updates is the same for now. What else do we add? The label system showed that. Oh, moving cards. Lineups. This is another big request. So now inside of lineups, you have the ability to actually transfer cards. So I can move a card from my lineup to another lineup, or even create a brand new lineup, or I can copy it and just make a copy of it somewhere else. So that was a big one that got requested a lot. So you can do that now. You can also copy entire statuses. So everything in this status, move it somewhere else. And that's something I also forgot to mention earlier, is when you do the carrier reviews, it'll also add a system note to that card with the review results. So those will be tracked in there as well, if you want that. What else? Shipper CRM partnership. So if you didn't see that, we have a bundle deal now with Shipper CRM. So if you go to purchase a Signals plan, you pay that. It's basically $300, like a typical Signals plan. And then you also get access to Shipper CRM. So it's basically like a combined our deals together. So you kind of have to go through a couple extra steps because you have to get approval on the Shipper CRM side. But then you basically get Shipper CRM and SearchCarriers. So you kind of get the full package of being able to find shippers and like find their contacts and all that, manage your CRM for shipper leads, but then also like carrier vetting, compliance, network management stuff, all in SearchCarriers. So it's kind of like a perfect match, honestly. We're like opposite sides. So I'm pretty excited about that. I know a lot of people are, especially because the price is just like crazy. I don't think there's any other software out there with that price point. That's pretty crazy. I mean, $300, you get a full CRM, shipper lead system, compliance and vetting tool, carrier sourcing tool for $300 a month. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Last thing I think is just I did some cleanup on the mobile view. Let's see if I can do this. How do I do this on here? Let's go like here and refresh. So now at the top, you can see we have these obviously look a lot better now. Let me blow this up so you can actually see it. These at the top look a lot better now because they're collapsed more. And then before we had all those buttons in the header. So this header before was like, you know, down here or something. It was like half the screen. It was really stupid. So now this is actually like collapsed up here a little bit better. And all those actions are now under this actions button for, you know, track updates, add to lineup, record audit, all that, blah, blah, blah. It's all on his actions button now. So just some cleanup there. There's still some work to do for the mobile here. For example, the pop-ups aren't great. See, like we have I don't know what this is from. Let's see if there's something on the bottom. It's probably from the pop-ups. So what exactly I was about to show you. If I go inspections, open this, see how this opens off to the side? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this its own page. So if you're on mobile soon, like one of these upcoming minor releases, when you click view details, it's going to actually open a whole new page for that inspection. I think that'll just be cleaner instead of trying to keep it into the modal. I feel like it's been just really difficult to maintain over time. So yeah, that's coming soon. I know that this sucks. Bear with me. It does everything still works. You can see it. I think it's still better than most of the platforms out there, honestly. It's pretty much a mobile app. Got everything in here. You can even do like enrich contacts and all of that in here. Secretary of State lookups. If anybody hasn't seen that, you can do that now in here. Even download the file itself, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers this update. Ton of stuff in here, honestly, and that's not even to cover all the bug fixes and just random stuff. Trying to think if there's anything else I missed. Got the web extension. If you don't know, I haven't really covered a lot of this because I haven't been streaming in a long time, so you have to be following me on socials. But yeah, I think that about covers it. Here's all the usage stuff in here. Oh, we did add a usage limits section in here. This wasn't here before. So now you can jump into your settings and see usage limits here instead of having to go to the product page. I think that's just a better experience. So that's all in here as well. The map did get a couple updates as well this update. I think it was the truck counts. Yeah. Power units is in here now. So you can search by power units. I think everything else was already in here, maybe. Safety score is present. Active carrier. And then you can go to like Raleigh, North Carolina. She'll go here. Boom. Search. This feels like it's not real. Let's see. Is the safety score not working? No safety score. So I'll have to check that out. I think I had safety score present. Yeah. I'll have to look and see why that's not applying. But the big one's really power units. So if you do like 100 power units, it'll flag it down to those. So it's a good way to get a lot of lead gen people that use the map. They like to be able to like visualize it that way. So just trying to add more features for them. All right. I think that covers it. That's the end of our sponsored segment for today. I think that's it for the search kit. I'm probably gonna cut this video, or make my own video of maybe some of the different features. I need to do a better job marketing some of this stuff, so gonna be working on that. I think so. I guess moving forward, I could talk about what's coming next. So I think there's a couple things with the next version. I think I'm gonna change from using the minor to using the major. So the next release of SearchCarriers might be V2. It should be a pretty big one. I don't want to like totally leak everything because it changes so much depending on like, enterprise deals going on and things like that. But it's probably going to be a pretty big one. So I think I'm going to start it with V2, but then I'm going to start doing the major version instead of the minors. So like this would have been a V2 moving forward. That way, when I'm adding those little things later on, it can be a version 2.1, a 2.3, whatever. Because right now I do a lot of updates in between these that are really more like, they're not hot fixes, they're adding features, but they're not like major updates. So I think I'm just going to change that. So the next update will probably be V2. Things I'm looking at are improving community engagement on the platform. So a lot of things I'm looking at are company profile claiming is coming very soon. That's mostly done. So you'll be able to actually come in, claim your company. I don't want to spill all the beans, but like it's more than just come in and claim your DOT number. There's actually going to be a way to claim like a company, even if it's not a DOT necessarily. And then that'll open up tools for you if you claim a company to automatically get alerts or see data around your company. So, think about like compliance companies, stuff like that. There's going to be some stuff there. Once that's in place, also going to be releasing the long-awaited road rep system, like the reviews, basically. So that's gone through a ton of iterations. I think that'll be probably in the next release, which I'm very excited about. I know a lot of people are. A lot of people have been waiting forever and asking me forever. Onboarding is probably also coming after that, is my guess. Also have some cybersecurity stuff that's coming out for monitoring cybersecurity on some companies that I think will be really cool. that's kind of the next focus, is really kind of increasing community engagement. I'm looking at ways to build an app. I know it's been asked a bunch. Now I have a Mac, so I can build iOS apps, which is actually a pretty big unlock. So might be coming sooner than later now. I want to improve the picture taking system again. So it's gone through a bunch of iterations. I don't have a truck to actually do this with right now. It's gone through a bunch of iterations, but I want to actually start gamifying it. So I think that'll be coming, probably not next release, but the release after. I think I'm going to time it for end of June, early July, maybe, or somewhere in that ballpark. That might coincide with an app. Don't know yet. Not sure. But I really want to gamify the picture taking, and I want to also lean more into, again, the community engagement side of it. Like, remember we had these public profiles? I want to double down on this and add some fun things here. So, maybe it's going to be like pictures matched, highest picture score, actually start scoring the pictures, things of that nature. Also going to support multi-pictures in the next update. So if you take a picture of like a back of a truck and the side, you can combine them. You can basically like take more. And also going to support, I don't know how to describe it, like continued picture taking. So what I found is a lot of users right now, when they're doing the pictures on the highway and stuff, not driving, right? You're not driving, you're a passenger. Better not be driving. You're taking pictures of a bunch of trucks, and then you get home, and then you upload them all to SearchCarriers. What I want to do is make it so it's more natural to just do it in SearchCarriers. Maybe that's an app, maybe it's the mobile, maybe it's the mobile site, maybe it's both. So what I think it's going to be is you basically go in, you say, I'm taking pictures of trucks. I want to take multiple pictures. And you basically take a picture and like through SearchCarriers. And instead of it being like, okay, we're searching, it's going to be like, add a picture of this truck or something like that. And you could add a picture and then take a second picture of the same truck. So maybe as you're coming up on a truck as a passenger, you're taking a picture of the trailer. And then as you're passing, you're taking a picture of the ID on the side of the truck. And then you're like, okay, I'm good. You could basically say submit, and it's going to async submit your pictures in the background. And you can choose to say keep going and basically continue taking pictures. Or you can say I'm done and just wait for the results and go to that company. And so it'll allow you to take multiple pictures of the same truck and also take pictures of multiple trucks without having to like take a bunch at once and then upload them at the end. And then that's also going to tie into the gamification of like rating your pictures and all that. So you'll actually get kind of a score and like see a little bit more of that. And that'll also probably tie into the road rep system. So if you take a picture of like a truck that's crashed, you could, I don't know. You really shouldn't be reporting somebody that's just crashed, I guess. Let's say you take a picture of a truck that just like almost crashed you, driving reckless. You could take a picture of those, submit a road rep at the same time and say like, reckless driving or whatever it's going to be. More on the road rep system later, because like, there's a lot there with as far as not letting people just bash companies for no reason. There's going to be different types of road rep reports depending on like if you've claimed a company or not. So there's a lot there. But anyway, that's kind of what's coming soon on like the community fun side. And also, I don't know, there's a lot more. I have a million ideas. I have like the next 3 years of SearchCarriers development ready to go, probably. I don't think I'll ever run out of things to build. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming. It's just a matter of priority. But anyway, I think that about does it for this. I think that was like the main stuff I wanted to show. Talk about some of the future. Show what I've been working on. I did move to a Mac. I think I'm going to do a video soon on like 1 year as a bootstrap founder and talk about some of the things I've learned. Because it's very different from when I was VC backed. Not really VC. It was like through an accelerator. I don't even know what the difference. It's really VC. But like when I was new, had a partner, we raised money, life was different versus being a founder that's like, you've got 30 days of money. What are you going to do? That's been my last year. Not today now though. SearchCarriers is doing very well. Here's like a tidbit on SearchCarriers. SearchCarriers has basically roughly grown about 20% month over month since I launched it. So that growth has pretty much stayed the same. I would say the growth has increased in the last 2 months, the rate. TBD if that's sustained or not, as far as like the rate of growth. But it's doing very well. So we're okay now, but I think getting to here, there was a ton of things to learn, and I think I would like to put a whole video together on it. Even things like this laptop behind me going bad, you know, it's something that as a bootstrapped founder, you have a development laptop, you're working on it daily. What happens when that dies, right? You have meetings that day, you've got sales calls, you've got support to do. What do you do when your laptop dies? And I think it's an important thing that people don't think enough about. And those kinds of things I'd like to talk about in a video probably. So more content. I'm probably going to also spin up a SearchCarriers page to separate that. But anyway, that's it for this video, this live stream, I suppose. There we go. I think we'll do more of these, do more videos. I miss doing live streams and content. So should we do a podcast? Should I do a quarterly podcast? I don't know. Maybe. Thought about it. It's got to be interesting, though. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching it live or watching it later, you can reach out to me on X or through SearchCarriers feedback. All that stuff goes directly to me. So use that as well. And yeah, that's it for this one. Until next time, hopefully it won't be another 6 months. Hopefully sooner than that. But thanks for tuning in, and talk to y'all later.